Yeah, I don't think Atwater was surprised at all. And also, you know, my mama told me this once upon a time that like dark information is meant to enlighten you. And so with every dark circumstance that Atwater finds himself in within this blue system, it only enlightens his path, right? And how he knows how he has to move um, in order to accomplish his goal of serving and protecting at the highest level, you know? Um, so so I think this impacts Atwater just in a way that now he knows how to move and who to trust and who not to trust, and it's a chess game. It's a constant chess game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he's going to be careful and he's going to be successful because of his chess technique, which starts with empathy and truth, not because of his tactics and playing defense and just reacting, but because of how he responds.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to kind of break down with you for a moment that beautiful end scene where he goes to comfort the mother and give her kind of a little bit of clarity into
Mhm.
what those final moments were like. It was a really beautifully sequenced scene, and there was a lovely moment at the end when you guys were sitting on separate steps. What was the conversation you had with the director and with your fellow actor about how to best kind of convey his support, but not have it be overwhelming and kind of give her the space to grieve and have a good amount of respect for each other?
Yeah, well, that scene honestly reminded me so much of a real moment that I had in high school, right? I remember once upon a time being detained, handcuffed, and arrested, thrown in the paddy wagon um, for no reason. At least to me, it felt like no reason. But to the cops, they had perfect reason, right? I was running away um, from a crime scene. Essentially, I didn't know that the house on a block over from where I was running from, as I was running towards my house, had just been robbed, right? And so, imagine the paddy wagon pulled up, guns drawn. To be honest with you, I thought it was over. You know what I mean? The way that they grabbed me up, they drove a block and then started asking me questions. It was a very, very, very intense moment because I was just supposed to be taking out the garbage, and before I knew it, I'm in the paddy wagon doing my best. I got identified by my little brother's homie who said, "No, that's Lamar's big brother, LaRoyce. It wasn't him." So as soon as they knew that it wasn't me, and they knew that they had the wrong guy, naturally they uncuffed me, and I remember them dropping me off on my front lawn. And I asked the officer if it was possible if he could walk me to my door and let my mama know where I had been because I'd been out the house for hours up at that point. It was past midnight, and I'm pretty sure she was worried. And the officer could have given her some closure, filled in some gaps for her. And he told me, "Yeah, I'll be right back. Let me grab some paperwork and I'll be right with you." And he got in his car and he drove off, made a U turn, never came back. So now I got to go in the house and I got to try to explain to my mama that I just kind of been detained and arrested a little bit. But only proof she had was the lights that my little brother watched drive away and my wrists were obviously handcuffed. And so that's what was on my mind during that scene, right? Just really trying to be the officer for the parent to provide closure and to fill in gaps. The officer that me and my parents didn't get once upon a time. It was important for me to approach it with a sensitivity that reflected nobility, integrity, compassion, respect. We're all human. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect, you know. And that officer could have easily said that or said something to that nature in my life, and he didn't. And so, those are the real references from my neighborhood that I take. I imagine something like that, if it's happened to me and me and Atwater are from the same community of Harvey, Illinois, then it's probably happened to Atwater too. And so I use that and infuse that in scenes like that moment. So I was grateful. Um, I was really grateful to be able to reflect that.
I
I think
know.
it was a great scene. Ike Smith did a great job from
Yeah.
top to bottom with this episode.
Did you speak to the writers about that moment before you got the script and they intentionally incorporated, or was this something that just was kismet that you were able to bring this to it?
It was kismet. Like it wasn't something that we talked about prior. It wasn't anything that was premeditated. Really, it was just something that I remembered. It was a reference that I had on me, and I was able to use it.